What if the closest thing to magic is just outside the city you think you already know? Hi, my name is Pemia, and welcome to Pemia Voyages and Lifestyle. I have lived around nature most of my life, especially coming from Norway, but nothing quite prepared me for this. A green world, breathing right on the edge of Dar es Salaam. This is my visit to Pugu Kazimzumbwi Nature Forest Reserve, also known as the lungs of Dar es Salaam. And for some good reason. The place has forest with nature that absorbs carbon dioxide, regulating temperature and maintaining the water cycle for the city. It is located at Kisarawe district, just about 20 kilometers southwest of Dar es Salaam. It is also accessible through a tarmac. In this video, I'll be hiking to the viewpoint, canoeing, fishing, walking around the Minaki Dam, and slowly discovering why this ancient forest isn't just a tourist spot, but a lifeline. From the parking area, we walked along a gravel road flanked by thick, deep green forest on both sides. The kind of green that tells you there is water close by and plenty of it. A few steps in, we passed a big wooden sign which was written Pugu Restaurant and Bar, and turned in that direction. Not long after, we reached a small counter made of natural materials. It was simple and quiet. That's where we got our tickets for the day for the different activities that we're going to do. At this point, I realized that this wasn't just going to be another day in nature. It felt more like the beginning of a conversation with the forest itself. And that was only the beginning. If you have ever needed a reason to slow down and breathe again, stick around. The journey only gets deeper from here. What happens when everything around you goes still and you finally notice what's been waiting for you along? This was my first time canoeing. I'm used to kayaking back in Norway with faster waters and colder air. But this was something else, I tell you. Together with my guide, we paddled across a dam surrounded by forests that felt untouched. And every stroke felt like it took me further away from the world I thought I knew. We pushed off from the edge, and right away, the stillness still hits me. The water was quiet, and around us, the closed forest loomed. It was dense and full. It didn't take time before I noticed how many kinds of trees that surrounded the dam. Some were tall, others were curled as if they'd been there for many years. I felt like a guest, not a visitor. My guide taught me a few new paddling strokes, and I tried to match the rhythm. I was so excited and curious, I tell you. This was a different kind of learning, one where the water taught me just as much as the person in the boat. From the canoe, the view was unbelievable. Everything looked almost too beautiful to be real. I remember thinking, I wish I could stay out here forever. But guess what? Forever doesn't last. Our time on the dam came to an end. And still, something about that silence stayed with me. Not long after we stepped out of the canoe. What I didn't realize then is that the forest was just getting started on me. Come along for the next part, where I leave the calm of the water and take on the ground, one step at a time. After being done with the canoeing, I walked on the deck of Minaki Dam together with my guide. As I walked, we talked a bit about the fishing activity that was to come and my big expectation of at least getting a fish. My tour guide explained to me a bit about Minaki Dam. Through my discussion with my tour guide, I learned that Minaki Dam was a man-made dam, not a natural one. And over the years, the natural reserve people had expanded the dam because some of the structures that we were seeing from the deck were not there from before, especially the two huts that were in front of us. It was quite relaxing just to stand there and look at the view of the dam. I could see that the dam was surrounded by closed forest, full of various plant species, giant bamboo stands. My tour guide explained to me that when I do the fishing activity, they would use the traditional way. With the traditional way, they were going to give me a thin bamboo stick and a line, often with a bait. Not far from the deck, there were buildings built with wood, but unfortunately we didn't get time to get inside them, though they looked beautiful from afar. So after a while, I was given a bamboo stick with a bait on it and asked to cast it into the dam, making sure that the bait was luring the fish that was under the water all the time if I needed to get the fish. My guide explained that if the rope starts shaking, then I must know that I have a fish and I must pull it out from the water. Here, they use the traditional method because it's much easier and cost-effective. Because the place is surrounded by a lot of bamboo forest. I first started fishing at the spot where I was, and after a short time, we discovered that I needed to change the spot to another site where there was a possibility of me sitting down as I casted my rod into the water. I was there for a while, but unfortunately, I didn't manage to catch anything. After discovering that there was no fish, we then decided to do the other activity and try again with the fishing at the end. We walked through different signposts to the bamboo place, where there was a signpost which was written, Bamboo Hole. My tour guide explained to me that the bamboo hole is the place where people can camp and sleep in the tents at night. If one decides to do camping at Pugu, they are provided with the tent, mattresses, as well as blankets for the night. In the middle, there was a bonfire area. I went inside the tent in order to see and feel the mattresses. The mattresses were very comfortable to sleep on. I then went to another tent where the children are supposed to be sleeping, and they were also very comfortable. The thing that I liked about the place is that it catered for people of all age groups, both adults and children. As we walked away from the camping area, I was given a price list of the paintball and archery activities. I looked at it, but unfortunately, it was something of no interest to me. I was also informed that at times they do have music for the people that are sleeping over at the campsite. I couldn't resist going to the Tanzanian flag grasshopper to take some photos before I left the place. Why do people chase the top of things even when we know it will burn our lungs to get there? After canoeing and doing all the different activities that I did, it was time for the hiking. I have done many hikes before, but not like this. This one felt different from the very first step. We walked, climbed, and sweat our way to the highest viewpoint in the Pugu forest and discovered a forest with a view that I never imagined existed so close to the city. We passed a sign that said, Karibu Tena. And again, that's where the hiking trail began. My tour guide reminded me to take it slow. The terrain was still flat, but the steps were coming. And with the heat rising, the pace mattered. We bent under low branches, climbed through thick greenery, and eventually the stairs appeared, winding up, cutting through the forest that seemed to get greener the higher we went. At some point, I took off my cape. The heat was real, I tell you, but so was my drive to keep on going. We paused to breathe, sat briefly at a resting point. Then, finally, we reached the top. I even congratulated myself for making it to the top. And there it was, the forest. It was unbroken, ancient and alive. And just beyond it, the entire city of Dar es Salaam. The contrast was unreal. It was as if two different worlds had been placed side by side and were standing right between them. My guide pointed out my hotel in the distance. I had to laugh. How was all this hiding so close to where I would have been staying? Sometimes it takes climbing above the noise to really see where you are. We stayed a little longer, took it all in, then it was time to go down. The next part of the journey was trickier than I expected. Going down isn't always easier than going up. Isn't it strange how coming down from something can be just as hard as reaching it? We began the descent, and right away, I realized that this wasn't just a walk downhill. It was a lesson in control, a lesson about patience and awareness. The terrain gets steeper as you go down, and the balance mattered. And the forest, even as we left it behind, still has one thing to teach. The steps going down were sharp and steep. My guide walked ahead, showing me how to move carefully, with shorter strides, keeping the weight balanced and eyes up. It was a reminder that going too fast can undo the journey that I had already made. We took our time, and honestly, I appreciate that. I wasn't in a rush to leave. At the bottom, we grabbed a bite to eat and returned to the water for more fishing. I hadn't caught anything earlier, and I wasn't ready to give up yet. And sometimes it's not about catching something, but holding on to the quiet while you try. And then something unexpected gave me hope. Watch the next part to find out what kept me casting my line even after hours of waiting. Can someone's moment give you the strength to keep going in your own? I hadn't caught a single fish, not even a bite, but my guide showed me a photo on his phone. A little girl, same day, same place, had caught a huge fish earlier that morning. He held up the phone, and there it was, smiling, proud, holding the fish high. That wasn't enough for me. I cast again, not just out of hope, but out of belief. Sometimes, all you need is proof that it's possible. The fish didn't come right away, but the quiet, the stillness, the belief stayed. There is more to this journey. Keep watching. Sometimes the story doesn't end with the catch. It begins with the waiting. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.